We start tonight with Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, Democrat of Rhode Island. Senator, I have to start. I must ask you about yesterday's exchange between President Trump, Vice President Vance, and Ukraine's President Zelenskyy at the White House. Here's just some of what happened.
Everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
You're
playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
Again,
I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of
except that they're.
What's your reaction when you saw this, Senator?
You know, you think back to what President Franklin Delano Roosevelt did for the embattled free world leader of his time, Winston Churchill, when he was up against the massive Nazi menace. And then you compare that to what Trump just did to an embattled leader of our free world up against the Putin Russia menace. And the comparison is degrading.
You know, after what we saw yesterday, where do we go from here? Is a peace deal for Ukraine still on the table? And what about our allies?
It's hard to tell. What's been terrific to see has been allies across Europe stepping up to rally around Zelenskyy, to rally around freedom, to rally against the murderous tyrant Putin, where we should be, but unfortunately under Trump, where we are not. There is one tool that they have at their disposal out there that they haven't used yet, which is about $300 billion in frozen Russian assets that the Europeans, particularly the Belgians, have been unwilling to actually seize. If they start sending that money to Ukraine, Ukraine plus Europe plus $300 billion can do a lot of good.
Now, let's turn to the budget. House and Senate Republicans have passed their own version of a budget that will appease the president, but leadership on both sides signaled they'll reject the other chamber's version, and the House version promises $880 billion would it be in spending cuts to Medicaid and other social services in order to finance tax cuts, which we'll get to. You're on the Senate Budget Committee. What do you expect to happen?
Well, they're going to have trouble forging an agreement between the House and the Senate, but that's actually the easy part. What they're doing right now is the stage in the budget process where the budget committees set the numbers to go out to the authorizing committees to actually come back with the laws that then can be put through the reconciliation process. In that next stage, when they actually have to put Medicaid on the chopping block, not just use numbers that show Medicaid has to be on the chopping block, but put Medicaid on the chopping block in front of all of America, it is going to be very painful for them.
Now, extending Trump's 2017 tax cuts would cost $4.6 trillion over a decade, according to the Congressional Budget Office. In Senate, if Senate Republicans use the current accounting process, they have no chance of making the cuts permanent because they'd require paying for it. So instead they want to use a different scoring method that assumes the extension will cost nothing because it's already law. Some have called it a sign Republicans don't expect to pay for the cost of their tax agenda. What is your take on this?
Well, first of all, they're counting the money twice. They counted it first when they put through the first Trump tax cuts for billionaires by counting the tax cuts for billionaires as ending in 10 years. So they could shrink how much Trump was giving away to billionaires in that first one. And now they're pretending that that money was never going to go away, was always going to stay. So they can't have it both ways. The acid test for this is going to be the debt limit, because no matter how they lie about what the baseline is, the debt limit is where the real money is. And they can't wish away $4.6 trillion off of the national debt. There are real borrowers who are involved in all of that. So the lie about what they're saying is going to be proven in the debt limit debate.
You sit on Senate Judiciary, and this weekend we learned that at least 7 top prosecutors at the Washington U.S. Attorney's Office have been demoted by the new Trump-appointed interim U.S. Attorney. The group was among those targeted for revenge by Trump and MAGA for their roles in cases related to the January 6th and investigations of Trump allies. They're now tasked with entry-level and misdemeanor work after overseeing complex criminal cases at the nation's largest U.S. Attorney's Office. How should Democrats respond to this?
Angrily, because the Department of Justice is a very important part of our American life, and its integrity is very important to our American life. So when you both humiliate seasoned prosecutors for perfectly good cases that they brought, in fact, they won them, and then send a message to all of the rest of the employees, if you're not bringing the kind of cases that we like politically, you're in for the same humiliation, even when you do a great job, even when you get the conviction, even when you're the best we've got. So it's a doubly evil message.
All right. Thank you, Senator